Zealousy is very cringe. And I'm not talking about healthy enthusiasm. I'm talking about bona fide, over-the-top, balls to the wall, zealousy, not jealousy. Zealousy, right? So, example. There's this guy who I'm friends with on Facebook, and he's really into this new, very specific sect of a certain type of Reformed theology. He's obviously a Protestant, and he's done things like posting a meme with like a bunch of like maybe pictures of like 20 different pastors and saying that they teach his specific flavor of theology, and all other Christians, everyone who does not follow his YouTube pastors, everyone's going to go to hell, except for him and the people that follow this very obscure sect of whatever the heck it is. And he posts on and on, paragraphs and paragraphs of really emotionally strong, like fervent, zealous, enthusiastic descriptions of his theology and what he believes, and Jesus and all that stuff. And you don't really understand a lot of it. A lot of it's fairly incomprehensible to the average person, and he really just comes across like an idiot. But he's really into what he's doing. So I don't know if he has a really low IQ, if he has a mental illness. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he just needs to sit back and reflect upon himself and look upon his behavior and how he comes across, in the eyes of others. So it's of course I've had run-ins with him. Like one time he posted something about his whatever it is, and I posted a comment, and you guys know me, I'm sarcastic like 105% of the time, and I posted some comment about like Orthodox Christianity in relation to what he was saying, and it was tongue-in-cheek. It was kind of making fun of both him and me. It was just a funny comment. Like anybody with a brain would have known that it was sarcasm and just supposed to be funny. And he just got mad at me, and he made some comment, something like accusing me of being like a new convert to Orthodoxy who had just watched a couple Jay Dyer videos and now was super zealous. He was like, I know your type. You'll be over it in a year or two and on to something else. And I had never heard of Jay Dyer before. I had no idea who this guy is. I think I just responded back like, who's Jay Dyer? I have no idea who you're talking about or what you're saying. Anyways, he didn't respond. But yeah, he thought he had me, and he was describing the way he thought I was, when really it was the way that he was, because I'm not the way he was describing at all. So he is somebody who is extremely zealous to the point of extreme cringe. Nobody would take this guy seriously, but he's really into it. And anybody who kind of pokes fun at him in any way is accused of what he is actually doing. So on to other examples. Like I knew a family that was also like, actually they were new converts to Orthodox Christianity, and they were tiringly zealous. Like any conversation they had with anybody who wasn't even remotely Orthodox or even Christian, they just right away would start bringing up all these obscure Orthodox traditions that nobody knows anything about in the conversation. For you know what I mean? It was really weird to talk with them or to see them talking with other people, and all of a sudden they start bringing up the icons and the venerations of the saints and this and such feast day or the other, and it was really weird. And I don't think this woman had any conception that the way she acted was at all weird. And they were, like I said, new converts, maybe 6 months in. And they knew everything about Orthodoxy and were very, very strict. And yeah, were just extremely zealous. And somebody told me, who has been Orthodox their entire life, they said, yes, we get those people once in a while. They'll join a church, they'll become extremely zealous, and they don't last more than 2 years. Basically, those people usually are only in it for, up to 2 years, and then they bounce off the wall and go on to some other thing. So maybe after they go through their 2-year phase with this, they'll go on to that really weird sect of Reformed theology that the guy posted his list of YouTube preachers for. So when somebody is that zealous about something, it's kind of like they're not taking Han Solo's advice in Star Wars, where, as some of you may remember, Luke Skywalker is in the gun turret in the Millennium Falcon, and he's just blasting his laser cannon at everything, and finally he hits a TIE fighter and destroys it, and he very excitedly screams out, "I got one!" And Han Solo is just like, don't get cocky. So people get cocky really easily. They think they found the one true thing, and they get really cocky about it, and they just start preaching it to everybody. Extreme zeal, extreme cringe. Maybe they need a lesson in humility. Honestly, I think those people may have some mental or neurological limitations that maybe there's no way we can get through to them. Like maybe like, for example, you need a certain IQ to be able to understand sarcasm, conditional statements, recursion. I think it's 90 to understand recursion. I remember reading about this on the internet, and then like some study that found you needed to have at least a 90 IQ to understand recursion. And then very shortly after that, I was watching a movie with some other people, and the movie was very similar to the movie Inception. Those of you who've seen it, it's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. And that's kind of hard for some people to understand, but you get it, you know? And so it was a movie that was, for some reason, it was, in whatever way, had a similar concept to the movie Inception. In other words, the whole plot was based on recursion and like a universe inside a universe inside a universe. At the end of the movie, this one guy could not understand it at all, and his girlfriend kept trying to explain it to him, and she spent like 10 minutes explaining to him the basic concept of what was happening, and he just does not get it. And then I realized, okay, yeah, he's sub 90, you know, sorry. So maybe there's some people that's just how they are. Maybe it's a combination of like manic bipolar, where they're swinging off between wild new ideas that they find, and maybe also kind of having a low IQ and not being able to comprehend the way they come across to others. Maybe a combination of those two things. I know I'm really like diagnosing right here, but you know that guy on my Facebook with a weird theology call, he's diagnosing that everybody else is going to go to hell if they don't follow his YouTube preacher. So I'm going to do a little bit of diagnosing myself, and I'm going to say he's low IQ and has some kind of like manic bipolar type-esque, subclinical maybe, back and forth thing going on in his head, where he, you know, finds something, gets really excited about it to the point of utter and sheer and absolute cringe to everyone around him. And then, you know, in a couple years, you know, as he said to me, in a couple years, he'll be onto something else. Same thing with when somebody was describing to me that yes, they've seen that type of Orthodox person or Orthodox family before, where they usually show up, they're new converts, they get super, super crazy, excited, zealous, strict to the max. And they said, sadly, those people don't usually stay Orthodox for more than a couple years. They're on to some other crazy thing. And maybe their entire lives are like that too. So hopefully, if you are like what I'm describing in this video, maybe you can self-reflect a little bit and become a little bit more humble and realize that just because you learn something and you think you're hot shit, you know, excuse my French, you don't need to get all crazy about it. Think about how other people see you when you're talking about something. Put yourself in their shoes, their perspective, and realize you're looking like an idiot, and you're turning everybody off from what you're doing when you put yourself up on a pedestal like that. Anyways, that's all I got. Oh, I just saw that house has had house wrap on it for a long time, because people will build a house and put house wrap on it and then not have enough money or time to do the siding, and they just leave it. But yeah, the wind just tore their house wrap to shreds. Crazy to see. Guys, you got to put your siding on right after the house wrap within 90 days. Anyways, that's all I got to say. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Check out the links below the video when I eventually put them in. That's all.